Luthiers from around the world travel to Tugaske, Saskatchewan. There they learn the art of guitar making from David Freeman. He built his first guitar back in 1980. Now students learn from him in a 7-week immersive course in rural Sask. David is the owner of Timeless Instruments, and he joins us now. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Adam.
So, David, I mentioned you started with your first guitar in 1980. How did you get into this?
I started playing guitar and I started being curious about what made them sound better. And I started fixing my own guitars and decided I would like to learn to build one.
And how did this evolve into starting your own school?
Well, I went to Vermont in 1980 and learned how to build a guitar there after I discovered a school there. Came back to Saskatchewan. In about 1978, a guitar supply company had sold from Vancouver into California, which I looked at buying, but I didn't know enough about it. So I knew there wasn't a lot of this in Canada, and there was people going to the States to learn how to build. In 86, ended up with a school or a dormitory house and a shop big enough that I could make a school, and so I tried it.
What's that been like, that journey for you to see so many people come through over the years and learn this skill?
Well, it evolved slowly with time. I started out, I was farming so I could build guitars in the winter, and by 1989, I was building guitars so I could farm. So it's been a slow evolution, but it built, and I had a lot of good word of mouth, a lot of connections, and it's gone beyond anything I ever really dreamed of in the beginning.
What's that moment for you as a teacher, for someone to discover that they can do this and they can build this guitar when we put it together, and the reactions for you must be pretty rewarding?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of common sense to it, but there's this mystique around it that guitar building requires an exact, perfect thing. And there are points where that needs to happen, but because of that, I think people make a block. And once they get over that block and the light goes on in their head how to do something, that's pretty cool to see. It's like, yeah, okay, you got it. Now go with it.
What's it like for your students when they're, visiting, or, they travel to you to connect with you in rural Saskatchewan?
Well, a lot of them come from places that are not like rural Saskatchewan. And like somebody said, yeah, you had to drive on pebbled roads to get here because you'd come across on a grid. And there's not a lot to do in Tugaske. There used to be a bar, and it's closed. So they really just focus on building guitars, and some of the classes actually play a lot of music together in the evenings.
You mentioned, and I talked about people coming from all over the world. I understand you have a map with pins to mark where people have come from all over. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, the pins are on the countries where people have come from more than in Canada and the US, because it just ran out of space in Canada and US. But there's been over 25 different countries where people have come here to build. And then they go home. Some of those people are actually teaching how to build in the countries they're back in.
So you're passing it on to and spreading the word around the world here.
It's a fact.
What about the age of students? Do you get a wide variety wanting to learn?
The youngest was 16, and he was homeschooled, so he did as part of his course. And the oldest was 75, and everything in between.
Have you? What have you discovered about this and yourself on this journey to helping people create a guitar?
Well, part of the reason I started was so that I would build more guitars, because I found before I started that I was doing a lot of repairs, and I'd rather build than repair. So in that building process, I've done a lot of research and on the acoustics and what makes a better sound, and written articles for an organization called the Guild of American Luthiers that runs a quarterly that's member written. So I've had a lot of exploration.
When you're listening to music, do you pick up on things in the way a guitar is made? Is that something you can hear?
Um, Sometimes, yeah, yeah, but they can do so much with tweaking the electronics that it's you have to have a pretty good ear to pick that up. It's more when I pick up a guitar and play it and feel it, and that I listen to it, and then you can really assess the differences.
I know you have a 7 week session coming up here next month. What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to building another guitar and working with some students. I've got one student coming back that was here in 1987, and he's gone on and done a whole career as a doctor, and so that'll be pretty cool because I had fun when he was here before.
And how do you keep in touch with these ex students? You mentioned that some of them have gone around the world to teach people how to make guitars.
Yeah, with the internet, it's pretty easy to stay in touch. I also run a guitar supply business, so I sell supplies through the mail, and I stay in touch with probably 30% of the people that go through this course.
David, I'm not a math guy, but do you have any sense of how many guitars you've made over the years?
I'm over the 200 mark, but then I've got over 750 students, so none of them would have made a guitar. Well, maybe some, but I'm part of them making that guitar. So you're pushing up towards 1,000.
David, good luck with the course in February. Thanks so much for joining us, and really cool what you're doing in Tugaske all these years. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Adam. Have a good day.